I chose We Shall Overcome, sung by Joan Baez, to follow Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind, because while both were played at the March on Washington, Dylan asks questions about the future of the American people, and Baez gives one simple direction to Americans. It is a message of perseverance and continuing nonviolent protest. Martin Luther King Jr. even incorporated the hymn into some of his sermons. The song had many renditions over the period of the Civil Rights Movement, but I chose the Joan Baez one due to the fact that it was performed at such a pivotal point in the Civil Rights Movement on such a huge platform. It repeats "We shall overcome" and "We are not afraid" over and over to very simply give people a message to show America and the world. This is also the year of Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. After MLK was arrested following a nonviolent protest, he wrote encouraging people to stand up to injustice in their daily lives and to continue peaceful protest. This plan ended in a movement that couldn't be ignored, and the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, which prohibited racial discrimination in employment, voting, and the use of public facilities. This was a great step for African Americans, but they weren't finished. Even though the act had passed, it was not being enforced in some states, such as Alabama. The Southern Christian Leadership Council decided to march from Selma to Montgomery to protest the lack of voter registration. The protesters were met with troopers armed with tear gas and nightsticks when they passed the county line, and violence ensued. Two protesters, Jimmy Lee Jackson and Reverend James Reeb, were killed. These acts prompted President Johnson to address the nation to call for the passage of the Voting Rights Act and to help support the Selma protesters. In his speech, he references this song and says, "Their cause must be our cause too, because it is not just Negroes, but really it is all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice, and we shall overcome."